The shattered glass crunched beneath my feet as I stood in the doorway of my design studio, staring at the wreckage of 6 months' work. My signature wedding centerpiece, the one that was supposed to make my engagement party unforgettable, lay in ruins across the polished concrete floor. I'm Trinity, and this was supposed to be my moment of triumph. Oh God. Marcus appeared behind me, his hand landing on my shoulder. When did this happen? I checked my phone. 6:47 p.m. The party started in 13 minutes. Someone got in between the final check at 5 and now. My voice came out steadier than I felt, probably because the shock hadn't fully hit yet. The destruction was methodical. Every crystal vessel had been smashed. The hand-painted silk flowers were shredded. Even the custom-built rotating platform was damaged beyond repair. This wasn't random vandalism. This was personal. Cancel everything, I whispered, but Marcus squeezed my shoulder. Like hell we will. Your future mother-in-law is already upstairs with half the guests. Ryan's been texting me asking where you are. My phone buzzed. Speaking of Ryan, but it wasn't him. It was my sister Sam. Running late? Can't wait to see your amazing centerpiece everyone's been talking about. Love you, sis. Something in my chest tightened. The message was too perfect, too eager, just like Sam always was whenever things went wrong in my life. Marcus, pull up the security footage. He was already moving to the computer. Systems down. Camera feed cut out at 5:23. Of course it had. I walked carefully through the debris, picking up a piece of the shattered crystal. The edges were sharp enough to draw blood if I wasn't careful. Just like family. We can still salvage this, Marcus said, already pulling out his phone. I'll call in favors. We've got backup pieces in storage. No. I set the crystal shard down deliberately. We're going to use this exactly as it is. What? I started gathering the larger pieces, arranging them in a spiral pattern. Help me stack these. We're creating something new. Something raw. Marcus watched me for a moment, then nodded slowly. A statement piece about broken beauty? About truth, I corrected, feeling something cold and certain settle in my chest. About seeing what's really underneath all the perfect surfaces. We worked quickly, transforming the destruction into a stark, modern installation. The shattered crystal caught the light like tears. The torn silk flowers became abstract shapes, suggesting something wounded but surviving. It wasn't pretty. It was powerful. My phone buzzed again. Ryan. Where are you, babe? Mom's asking about the big reveal. I typed back. Coming up now. Get everyone ready. Sam was already holding court when I walked into the reception space, gesturing dramatically as she told some story to a captive audience. Her eyes met mine for just a second too long when I entered. There's my sister. She broke away from her group, arms wide for a hug. I've been dying to see. It's ready. I cut her off, keeping my voice bright. Everyone, if you'll follow me to the studio. I led the crowd downstairs, Sam right behind me. I could practically feel her anticipation. The need to see her handiwork, to watch me try to explain away the destruction of my perfect centerpiece. The gasps when I opened the studio doors were everything I could have hoped for. But I watched Sam's face in the reflection of the windows, watched her expression shift from eager expectation to confusion to something like fear as she took in what we'd created from her vandalism. It's about truth, I announced to the crowd, but my eyes stayed on Sam's reflection. About how sometimes the most beautiful things come from breaking something perfect apart and seeing what's really inside. Sam's face went pale, and I smiled, just slightly, as I raised my champagne glass. To new beginnings, I said, and to finally seeing things as they really are. The crowd echoed the toast enthusiastically. Only Sam remained silent, her champagne untouched, staring at the installation like it was accusing her. Which, of course, it was. The morning after my engagement party, I found myself sitting across from Evelyn in her sunlit kitchen, watching her methodically arrange fresh-cut roses. My future mother-in-law had always been precise in everything she did. You turned destruction into art, she said, trimming a stem at exactly the right angle. That's a rare gift, Trinity. I traced the rim of my coffee cup. Someone wanted to hurt me last night. And instead, you made them reveal themselves. Evelyn's hands stilled on the roses. I saw Sam's face when she saw what you'd done with the wreckage. She looked haunted. The memory surfaced unbidden. Sam, at 12 years old, standing in front of my destroyed science fair project, wearing that same haunted expression. I'd covered for her then, told our parents I'd accidentally knocked it over myself. Did I ever tell you about Sam's Sweet 16? I asked, the words bitter in my mouth. I spent weeks planning it. Hand-painted every decoration, stayed up 3 nights straight finishing her cake. The morning of the party, she told everyone she hated it, said it was childish, embarrassing, made me take it all down while her friends watched. Evelyn set down her scissors. Some people can't stand to see others shine. I kept making excuses for her, kept trying to... My voice caught. She was always the baby, you know, the one everyone protected, even from herself. And now? Now I'm done protecting her. The doorbell rang, interrupting whatever Evelyn was about to say. Through the kitchen window, I saw Sam's car in the driveway. Perfect timing, Evelyn murmured, but something in her tone made me look at her sharply. She met my gaze steadily. She called earlier, asked to stop by. I thought you might want to be here for it. Before I could respond, Sam breezed into the kitchen. All sunshine and designer clothes. She faltered slightly, seeing me there, but recovered quickly. Trinity, I didn't expect... I was just coming to talk to Evelyn about some wedding details. What details? I kept my voice light, curious. Oh, you know, Sam waved her hand vaguely. The rehearsal dinner venue. I have some amazing contacts through work. And since I'm your maid of honor... You're not my maid of honor, Sam. The silence that followed was razor sharp. Sam's smile froze, then cracked slightly at the edges. But I'm your sister. Yes, you are. I stood up slowly. Which is why I kept hoping you'd change. That maybe this time would be different. I don't understand what you're... The security footage came back online this morning. I lied smoothly, watching her face. All of it. Sam's hand tightened on her purse strap. What are you talking about? Interesting thing about modern security systems, I continued. They back up to cloud storage, even when the local feed is cut. It was a complete bluff, but Sam's face went pale. Behind her, Evelyn continued arranging flowers, but I could tell she was listening intently. You always were good at destroying things, I said softly. But this time I'm not covering for you. Trinity, please. Sam's voice cracked. I can explain. I was going to fix it before anyone saw. Make it better. More sophisticated. Your design was so... basic. The casual cruelty of it hit like a physical blow. Evelyn's scissors clattered against the counter. Get out. My voice was ice. And don't come near my wedding, any of it. You can't cut me out, Sam protested. What will people say? What will our parents think? They'll think whatever your actions show them. For once in your life, Sam, face the consequences. She looked to Evelyn for support, but found none. After a moment, she straightened her shoulders, her vulnerability vanishing behind a mask of indifference. Fine. Have your little wedding. But remember, I know all your secrets, sister dear. Every single one. She stalked out, leaving the threat hanging in the air. When her car engine faded, Evelyn spoke quietly. She's desperate now. That makes her dangerous. I picked up one of the roses, feeling its thorns press against my skin. Good. Let her show everyone who she really is. And who are you, Trinity, in all this? I thought about the shattered centerpiece, about years of making excuses, about the cold satisfaction I'd felt watching Sam's facade crack. I'm the one who's finally stopped pretending. The thorn broke skin, a single drop of blood welling up. I didn't wipe it away. Marcus dropped the security logs on my desk with a thud that matched my growing headache. You're not going to like this. I flipped through the access records for the past month. Sam's keycard had been used 17 times when I wasn't in the studio, each entry perfectly timed between client meetings. She didn't even try to hide it, I said, my fingers tightening on the papers. She wanted me to find this. There's more. Marcus pulled up something on his phone. Check your social media mentions. The first post was from Claire, one of my highest profile clients. Devastated to hear about the quality issues with Mitchell Designs. Expected better for my daughter's wedding. My stomach dropped as I scrolled through similar comments, each one perfectly crafted to seed doubt without making direct accusations, all from clients who had connections to Sam through her PR firm. "She's trying to tank the business," Marcus said quietly. The phone on my desk rang. Ryan's name flashed on the screen. "Hey, babe. Listen, my mom's acting weird about the wedding venue. Says Sam talked to her about some concerns." "What concerns?" The words came out sharper than I intended. Something about structural issues? Safety violations? I don't know, but she seemed pretty worried. Of course. The venue was my biggest project to date, a restored historical mansion I'd spent months preparing. Sam knew exactly where to hit. "I'll handle it," I said, ending the call before Ryan could ask questions. Marcus watched me carefully. "What are you thinking?" "I'm thinking about the Anderson file." His expression shifted. "Trinity, no. That would destroy her career. Like she's trying to destroy mine?" I pulled open my bottom drawer, removing a thick folder. She's not the only one who knows secrets. 2 years ago, Sam had buried a scandal at her firm, a major client's fraudulent charity event that she'd helped promote. I'd helped her hide the evidence, protect her reputation. The proof had sat in my drawer ever since, insurance I never thought I'd need. My phone buzzed with a text from Evelyn. "We need to talk, now." 20 minutes later, I sat in Evelyn's living room, the Anderson file heavy in my bag. But before I could speak, she placed an old photograph on the coffee table. "Do you recognize this?" The image showed 2 young girls at a wedding. The older one was fixing the younger one's dress, while the younger one looked away, her expression dark with jealousy. "That's not me and Sam," I said slowly. "No." Evelyn's voice was tight. "That's me and my sister, the one no one in the family talks about anymore." Understanding dawned. "What happened?" "She destroyed my wedding. Not just the ceremony, everything. My reputation, my relationships, my career. So I retaliated. Used everything I knew against her." Evelyn's hands trembled slightly. "I won. She lost everything. And 30 years later, I still wake up missing my sister." The Anderson file seemed to burn through my bag. "Sam's not giving me a choice," I said. "There's always a choice." Evelyn picked up the photograph. "But once you make it, you can't take it back. The question is, do you want revenge? Or do you want your sister?" My phone buzzed again. Another client cancellation, another perfectly orchestrated hit from Sam. "Maybe I want both," I said, pulling out the Anderson file. "Maybe it's time Sam learned actions have consequences." Evelyn studied me for a long moment. "Then let me tell you exactly how my sister fell, so you understand what you're about to do." I opened the file, spreading its contents across the coffee table. Each page represented a piece of Sam's carefully constructed life, each document a weapon I could use. "Tell me," I said. Behind us, the sun cast long shadows across the floor, stretching like fingers reaching for something just out of grasp. Like the space between sisters that grows wider with each chosen wound. I thought of Sam's face at my engagement party, that flash of fear when she saw what I'd created from her destruction. Maybe it was time to show her what else I could build from the ashes of her betrayal. "Tell me everything," I repeated, and Evelyn began to speak, her words painting a future I couldn't take back once I chose it. The revenge would be perfect, and perfectly devastating, just like Sam had taught me to be. The Anderson file sat untouched on my desk while I stared at my phone, reading Ryan's message for the 10th time. "We need to talk. Now. It's about Sam." I found him in our kitchen, hands wrapped around a coffee mug like an anchor. The moment I saw his face, I knew. "Sam came to see me today," he said quietly. "Showed me some things. About the venue, about you." My throat tightened. "Whatever she told you." "She had proof, Trinity. Documents showing you knew about the structural issues months ago, that you covered them up to save money." He pushed his phone across the counter. "The inspection reports have your signature." I looked at the documents. My signature was perfect. Too perfect. The kind of perfect that came from years of watching me sign contracts across a shared childhood bedroom. "Those are forged." "Are they?" Ryan's voice cracked slightly. "Because Sam also told me about the Anderson scandal. How you helped her bury evidence of fraud. Said it proves you're willing to hide things when it suits you. The irony burned like acid. Sam was using my protection of her as a weapon against me. You believe her over me? I don't know what to believe anymore. He ran a hand through his hair. The venue inspector is coming tomorrow. If those reports are real, they'll shut down the restoration project. My voice sounded distant to my own ears. The business will be liable. Mom's already talking about postponing the wedding. Of course she was. Evelyn's warning about choices echoed in my head as I watched Ryan struggle with his doubt. Sam hadn't just attacked my business. She'd poisoned my relationship with the careful precision of a surgeon. My phone buzzed. Marcus, 3 more cancellations, major clients. We need to do something now. I have to go, I said, already reaching for my keys. Trinity. Ryan caught my wrist. Whatever's really going on between you and Sam, fix it. Please. I looked down at where his fingers circled my wrist, at the space between trust and suspicion. Some things can't be fixed, Ryan. They can only be finished. The drive to my office was a blur. Marcus waited with fresh coffee and fear in his eyes. The Anderson file, he said immediately. We have to use it. Sam's already spinning that against me. I paced the length of my office. She's turning my protection of her into proof that I'm corrupt. Then we need something else. Something she doesn't know we have. I stopped at the window, watching the city lights blur through unshed tears. She's going to be at the venue inspection tomorrow. Trinity. She'll want to watch it happen, to see everything fall apart. Marcus stepped closer. What are you thinking? I turned, and something in my expression made him step back. I'm thinking it's time to stop protecting and start hunting. The inspection is in 15 hours, he warned. Then we have 14 hours to set a trap. I pulled out my phone, dialing Evelyn's number. You told me how your sister fell. Now tell me how you made sure she couldn't get back up. There was a long pause on the other end, then, come over. Bring everything you have on Sam. Every detail, every secret, every weakness. And the Anderson file? No. Evelyn's voice hardened. We're going to give her something much worse. We're going to give her exactly what she wants. And let her destroy herself with it. I ended the call, looking at Marcus. You once said everyone has a breaking point. He nodded slowly. Sam's is being invisible. Then let's make her the center of attention. I grabbed my coat. One last time. The Anderson file went into my shredder, its ashes falling like snow. Sam wanted to play with forged signatures and false reports? Fine. But she'd forgotten the first rule of our childhood games. I always let her win just enough to get careless. Tomorrow, that habit would finally serve a purpose. Because sometimes the deadliest trap isn't the one that stops you. It's the one that lets you run exactly where you wanted to go. Right off the edge you never saw coming. The venue inspection was scheduled for noon. I arrived at 11, watching Sam's silver Mercedes pull into the parking lot right on schedule. She'd always been predictable in her need to arrive first, to stake her claim on any situation. Everything's ready, Marcus murmured beside me. Evelyn's contact at the building commission is standing by. I nodded, watching Sam stride toward the entrance in her designer suit, tablet in hand. The forged documents that would destroy my business were probably pulled up, ready to present to the inspector. Trinity, Marcus's voice held a warning. Once we do this? I know. I straightened my jacket. Let's go. Inside, Sam was already holding court with the small gathering of concerned clients and board members she'd assembled. Her face lit up when she saw me. That perfect practice smile that had fooled our parents for years. I'm so glad you could make it, she said, voice dripping concern. Given the circumstances. I wouldn't miss it. I moved closer, pitching my voice for her ears only. Nice forgeries, by the way. You always did practice my signature in your diary. Her smile flickered just slightly. I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm just here to ensure everyone's safety. Of course you are. I checked my phone. The inspector should be here any minute. Right on cue, the doors opened. But instead of the building inspector, Evelyn walked in, followed by a man in an expensive suit I recognized from Sam's firm. Sam's face went pale. Mr. Richardson? What are you doing here? Investigating a concerning pattern, he said, his voice carrying across the lobby, of fraudulent documents being created using company resources. I watched Sam's perfect facade crack. The building commission's actual inspection reports, Evelyn interrupted smoothly, passing out folders to the gathered crowd, along with evidence of when and where the forgeries were created, including security footage from the PR firm's document room. Sam's tablet slipped from her fingers. I caught it before it hit the ground. Careful, I said softly. Wouldn't want to damage company property. Again. The crowd murmured as they reviewed the documents. Sam's breathing grew shallow as she watched her carefully orchestrated moment of triumph transform into something else entirely. This is a mistake, she tried, but Richardson cut her off. The only mistake was thinking you wouldn't get caught. The board is meeting this afternoon to discuss your termination. You can't… Trinity, please. Sam grabbed my arm. Tell them this isn't what it looks like. I looked at her hand on my arm, remembering all the times I'd covered for her, protected her, made excuses for the inexcusable. It looks exactly like what it is, I said. You trying to destroy someone else to make yourself feel bigger. I did it for us. The words burst out of her. Everything was always about you. Your success, your perfect life, your fairy tale wedding. I just wanted… to ruin it all? I pulled away from her grip. Congratulations, you succeeded. What do you mean? Ryan's postponing the wedding. The words tasted like ashes. Your lies about me worked. He's not sure he can trust me anymore. Something like triumph flashed in Sam's eyes, quickly hidden behind false concern. I was only trying to protect him. And there it was, the final proof I needed. She wasn't sorry about Ryan. She was glad. Mr. Richardson, I said, not taking my eyes off Sam. I believe I have some additional evidence you should see about the Anderson scandal. Sam's triumph turned to horror. You wouldn't. Why not? You already used it against me. Might as well let everyone see the whole truth. That would destroy everything. Yes, I agreed quietly. It would. The lobby had gone silent, watching our exchange. Sam's carefully crafted world was unraveling thread by thread, and everyone could see it. I'll fix things with Ryan, she whispered desperately. I'll tell him I lied. Just please. I stepped back, letting her see exactly what she'd created. Someone who no longer cared about protection or peace. The board meets at 3, I said. I suggest you use the time to decide how you want this to end. Because one way or another, it ends today. I walked out, leaving her standing amid the wreckage of her own making. Behind me, I heard Evelyn begin to speak, her voice carrying the weight of someone who knew exactly how this story could end. The trap was set. Now we'd see if Sam would choose her own destruction, or if she'd finally learn the cost of betrayal. Either way, I was done catching her when she fell. The annual Mitchell family dinner couldn't have come at a worse time. I stood in my parents' dining room, watching Sam charm our relatives with stories about her latest PR triumph, while my own career lay in ruins around me. 3 more clients had canceled this morning. The venue's reputation was shot, and Ryan still wasn't returning my calls. Such a shame about Trinity's business troubles, Sam said, her voice carrying perfectly across the table. But maybe it's for the best. Wedding planning was always such a simple career choice. Our mother nodded sympathetically. There's still that position open at your father's firm, sweetheart. The crystal wine glass cracked slightly in my grip. 20 years of their subtle dismissals and Sam's calculated undermining compressed into a single moment of clarity. Actually, I set down the glass carefully. I'd love to hear more about the Anderson account, Sam. The one you handled last year? The color drained from her face. That's confidential. Is it? Because I heard the board was very interested in reviewing it today. You didn't? Didn't what? Our father looked between us. What's going on? Nothing, Sam said quickly. Trinity's just upset because you forged my signature? The words cut through the dinner party chatter like a blade. Or because you destroyed my studio? Or maybe because you've been systematically trying to ruin my life since we were children. Dead silence fell across the table. Sam's mask of concern slipped, revealing something ugly underneath. You have no proof. I pulled out my phone, playing the security footage from my studio. Sam's face filled the screen as she methodically destroyed my centerpiece. I have every proof. My voice stayed steady, including what really happened with the Anderson charity funds. You promised you'd never tell. Sam stood so quickly her chair toppled. You promised you'd protect me. Like you protected me? I advanced around the table. By trying to destroy my business? By turning Ryan against me? You deserved it. She was screaming now, all pretense gone. You always had everything. The talent, the success, the perfect relationship. I just wanted to be seen. I finished softly. Congratulations, Sam. Everyone sees you now. The room erupted in chaos. Our mother was crying. Our father demanded explanations. Relatives whispered and pointed. But I hadn't expected what came next. You're both disgraceful. Our father's voice cut through the noise. Sam, manipulating and destroying. And you, Trinity, keeping evidence to use against your own sister? You're no better than she is. Dad, no. He held up his hand. I won't have this family torn apart by your petty rivalry. Either you both end this now, or neither of you is welcome here anymore. Sam's triumphant smile returned. She'd always been his favorite, his baby girl. She knew exactly how this would play out. I'm sorry, Daddy, she said, tears welling perfectly. I just wanted to help Trinity see that she was making mistakes. I never meant... Stop. I felt something break inside me. Just stop. Trinity, our mother pleaded. Apologize to your sister. We can fix this. I looked around the table at my family, at the years of enabling Sam's behavior, of dismissing my achievements, of demanding I be the bigger person while Sam burned everything I built. No, I said quietly. We can't. I walked out of my childhood home for the last time, their protests fading behind me. My phone buzzed, a text from Ryan. I can't do this anymore. I'm sorry. In my car, I found a note tucked under the windshield wiper. Sam's handwriting. You should have stayed quiet. Now you've lost everything. She was right. My business was failing. My engagement was over. My family had chosen her version of events over the truth. I'd tried to expose her, and somehow she'd turned even that into a weapon against me. My phone buzzed again. Evelyn, come over. Now. I started the car, hands shaking on the wheel. I thought revenge would feel like victory. Instead, it felt like ashes in my mouth. But as I pulled away from my parents' house, I caught a glimpse of Sam watching from the window, her satisfied smile visible in the darkness. And I realized, this wasn't the end. This was just the moment before the storm truly broke, because now I had nothing left to lose. Evelyn's living room felt too small for the weight of what she placed on the coffee table, a manila envelope and an old photograph I'd never seen before. Your sister didn't just manipulate the Anderson account, she said quietly. She's been embezzling from your parents' retirement fund for months. The photograph showed Sam at an underground casino, writing checks with our father's business account numbers clearly visible. How did you? I've been watching her since she tried to sabotage Ryan's career last year. Evelyn's voice hardened. She nearly destroyed my son's design firm with her helpful connections. My phone buzzed. Sam, we need to talk. The venue, 1 hour. She's planning something, I said. Good. Evelyn handed me the envelope. So are we. The venue was shadowed in late afternoon light when I arrived. Sam stood in the center of what would have been my reception hall, her designer heels clicking on marble floors as she paced. Finally ready to beg for forgiveness? She asked. Funny. I was about to ask you the same thing. She laughed, the sound echoing off empty walls. I've won, Trinity. The family chose me. Ryan left you. Your business is ruined. What could you possibly have left? The truth. I pulled out my phone, playing the casino footage. About everything. Her smile faltered as she watched herself writing those checks. Where did you get that? The same place I got the proof about Anderson, and the venue forgeries, and the retirement fund transfers. You're bluffing. Am I? I moved closer. The board meeting ended an hour ago. Want to know what they decided? Something dangerous flashed in her eyes. You promised you'd never tell anyone about Anderson. We're sisters. We're sisters, I corrected, until you decided destroying me was more important than family. Everything was always about you. She grabbed a loose piece of construction material, hurling it at the wall. Perfect Trinity and her perfect life. Do you know what it's like living in your shadow? Do you know what it's like watching someone you love try to destroy everything you've built? I built things too. Her voice cracked. The Anderson account was brilliant before the fraud. The PR firm respected me. But you just had to keep the evidence, didn't you? Your little insurance policy against your baby sister? I kept it to protect you. No, she advanced, trembling. You kept it to control me, like you always have. Sam, I won't let you win. She pulled out her phone. One call to Dad about the real reason Mom's jewelry went missing in high school and… It's over, Sam. Evelyn's voice cut through the tension as she emerged from the shadows, followed by our parents and Ryan. Sam's phone slipped from her fingers. What is this? The truth, our father said, his voice heavy. All of it, the casino footage, the retirement accounts, everything. Daddy, I can explain. No more explanations. Our mother's eyes were red. No more manipulation. Sam's facade cracked completely. You don't understand. I had to… Trinity always… I just wanted… to be seen, Ryan finished quietly. We see you now, Sam. All of you. She looked at each face, finding no allies, no escape. Her shoulders sagged. What happens now? Now, I said. You make a choice. Either face the consequences and get help, or I release everything to the police. Your career, your freedom, all of it ends today. You wouldn't. I pulled out the final piece of evidence. Her confession about Anderson, recorded at the family dinner. Try me. For a moment, I saw the little girl who used to crawl into my bed during thunderstorms. Then her expression hardened into something unrecognizable. Fine. You win. You've always won. She straightened her spine. But remember something, sister dear. You're just like me now. Calculating, vengeful, ready to destroy family for revenge. No, I said softly. I'm nothing like you. Because I'm giving you a choice. More than you ever gave me. She looked around one last time, at the ruins of her carefully constructed world, then walked out without another word. The silence that followed felt like the space between lightning and thunder. That moment when you know everything is about to change. Trinity, Ryan started, but I held up my hand. Not yet. I watched Sam's figure disappear into the darkness. Let's see what she chooses first. Because sometimes the real victory isn't in destroying someone. It's in forcing them to finally face themselves. The restored venue glowed with candlelight as I adjusted the last centerpiece. A delicate arrangement of broken crystal and fresh roses, beauty born from destruction. My wedding would start in an hour, but first I had one more conversation to finish. I wondered if you'd come, I said without turning around. Sam's reflection wavered in the polished windows, her designer outfit replaced by something simpler, more honest. Evelyn said you were expecting me. She would know. I faced my sister. She orchestrated more of this than either of us realized. The casino photos? Among other things. I gestured to 2 chairs. She lost her sister to revenge once. She didn't want to watch it happen again. Sam sat carefully, her usual confidence absent. I chose therapy and a plea deal for the embezzlement. I know. Of course you do. A ghost of her old smile flickered. You always knew everything about me, except why? Because I had what you wanted? Because you had what I needed. She twisted her hands together. The ability to build beautiful things instead of destroying them. Through the windows, I could see guests beginning to arrive. Ryan greeting them with Marcus, Evelyn directing the flow of people with practiced grace. A perfect scene I'd designed, built from the ashes of what Sam had tried to burn down. I brought you something, Sam said, placing a small box on the table. Inside lay a familiar object, the butterfly hair clip I'd given her on her 16th birthday, the one she'd thrown away during her party meltdown. You kept it? It was the last time you tried to protect me. Her voice cracked. Before I made it impossible. I touched the clip gently. Protection isn't always love, Sam. Sometimes it's enablement. And revenge isn't always hatred, she countered. Sometimes it's the only way to make someone see themselves clearly. The door opened softly. Evelyn stood there, elegant in her mother of the groom dress. It's time, Trinity. I nodded, standing. Sam remained seated, looking smaller than I'd ever seen her. Will you stay? I asked. For the ceremony? For the healing. She looked up sharply, meeting my eyes for the first time since that night at the venue. Can we? I don't know, I admitted. But I'm tired of building walls instead of bridges. I left the butterfly clip on the table between us. An offering, not a demand. Sam stared at it for a long moment before speaking. I'll watch from the back. Let people adjust to the idea slowly. It wasn't forgiveness. It wasn't even reconciliation. But it was something real. Finally, between us. The wedding proceeded perfectly, each detail exactly as I'd planned. But during the reception, I noticed something unexpected. Evelyn and Sam in deep conversation at a corner table, their expressions suggesting a weight of shared understanding I was only beginning to grasp. They're quite a pair, Ryan said, following my gaze. Mom says Sam reminds her of someone she used to know. Her sister? Herself. He squeezed my hand. Before she learned that revenge and redemption aren't mutually exclusive. I watched Sam laugh at something Evelyn said, the sound genuine in a way I hadn't heard since we were children. Then I saw the butterfly clip, pinned carefully to her dress. Not hidden, not flaunted, just present. Marcus appeared with champagne. To the happy couple, he proposed. To truth, Evelyn added from nearby. To choices, Sam said quietly, raising her glass. I looked at each of them. My husband, my friend, my mentor, my sister. Each relationship transformed by this journey, none quite what they had been, some stronger for the breaking. To building, I said finally, even when it would be easier to destroy. The crystal glasses clinked, their sound pure and clear, like bells announcing not an ending, but a beginning. Because that's the thing about revenge. It shows you who you really are. But forgiveness? Forgiveness shows you who you could become. I caught Sam's eye across the room, saw the question there, the hope and fear mixed together. I nodded slightly and she smiled, not her perfect PR smile, but something real and raw and possible. Sometimes the greatest victory isn't in winning the war. It's in choosing when to lay down your weapons.